There used to be a time that the only draw for buying a car from South Korea was a cheap sticker price. Build quality, dynamics and even safety all seemed to be afterthoughts. But over time, manufacturers like Kia and Hyundai have evolved into brands that are really starting to trouble more established European competition. Ssangyong is another one of those South Korean manufacturers that offers cheap and practical cars that are still a little rough around the edges. One perfect example is this, the Rexton. There isn't much choice when it comes to engines. There's only one available, a 176 brake horsepower 2.2 litre diesel. Now you can have that with either a 6-speed manual or a 7-speed automatic, both courtesy of Mercedes-Benz. It's safe to say that the engine isn't the best in class. It's quite an old unit, and to make any sort of swift progress you do really need to rev it hard. There's no sense of refinement whatsoever. You'll have to be careful of that pace when going around sharp bends, as the steering doesn't have a great amount of feel and there's quite a lot of body lean too. Just because there's a lot of play in the suspension, don't think the ride is supple, far from it. It feels quite fidgety and isn't great over potholes. The Rexton sits quite high, so there's a decent amount of ground clearance for anyone wanting to take it over anything more testing than a gravel car park. Find some dirt tracks and some steep banking and you'll be surprised just how much it makes light work of it all. What helps is the low range gearing and hill descent control. From the second you get behind the wheel, you can tell straight off that this is a car that's been built to a budget, but it's not as low rent as you may think. Okay, there are some cheap plastics on show, but it's neatly laid out and relatively straightforward to get to grips with. There's plenty of adjustment for the seat, electric, on higher spec models, but it's just a shame that the steering wheel only adjusts for height. Space isn't an issue though. This is a fully fledged 7-seater and there's no shortage of room up front or in the middle row. The third row is best reserved for small children. Most of the time though, they're best stowed to make room for a sizable boot. Equipment levels are pretty comprehensive, but rivals will hold their value better and be cheaper to run. SE models get climate control, cruise control and Bluetooth, but it's worth spending just a little bit more on EX trim for parking sensors, leather seats and more stylish alloys. Whereas it might be very easy to overlook the Rexton, there's still a lot to be said for it. Okay, it may not drive as well as some of the competition or be as well built, but you do get space for 7 and a lot of storage. The biggest draw for many though will be that rather attractive sticker price, but bear in mind there is a new model coming towards the end of 2017 and that may rectify some of the issues of the existing model.